You are standing in line. The smell of buttered popcorn is filling the air. And you are staring up at a giant menu board. You believe you are in total control of your wallet. You look at the small for $3 and the large for $7. In your head, the math is simple. You do not need that much corn, so you're about to pick the small. But then, your eyes drift to the middle. There it is, the medium for $6.50. Suddenly, the world shifts. Your internal calculator hits a snag. You realize that for just 50 cents more, you can double the size and get the large. The large no longer looks like an expensive luxury. It looks like a massive bargain. That aha moment, that feeling of winning, it is a total hallucination. You have not found a secret deal, and you have not outsmarted the theater. You have just walked straight into a psychological trap that has been carefully set for you since the 1980s. This is not a suggestion or a gentle nudge. This is a hard-coded exploit in your biological firmware. Marketers call it the Decoy Effect, and it is designed to bypass your logic and weld your wallet open. When you peel back the interface of your daily life, you find that your choices are not actually yours. If you go one layer deeper into the actual architecture of your brain, you find something much more fascinating and a little bit broken. Think of your decision-making process not as a clear, open field, but as a narrow, heavy, wooden funnel. Usually, you think you can see all the exits clearly. You think you are walking on flat ground, choosing where to step. But when a decoy is added to the menu, it is like someone placed a giant, invisible funnel in the middle of the room. You're not choosing the expensive option because you want it more. You are sliding into it because the architecture of the entire room has been tilted. This system is built to handle standard pressure, but it has one massive structural flaw. Our brains are not designed to think in absolute numbers. We cannot look at a pile of corn and know its true value in US dollars. Instead, we are built to compare things. The decoy acts like a heavy friction point. It makes the cheap option feel cold, insufficient, and strangely far away. Meanwhile, the expensive option is turned into a smooth, velvet-lined slide. It feels like the only warm, logical, and safe place to land. Marketers are not just selling you a product. They are building a cattle chute and walking you through it. They use sensory cues to make the high-margin choice feel heavy and valuable, while the alternatives feel brittle and leaky. When the floor under your feet is slanted by a $6.50 medium popcorn, you do not stand a chance of staying on the level ground. Here is how the digital plumbing of your mind actually works. When your brain processes a two-node comparison, like an apple versus a watermelon, it hits a high-latency loop. It struggles to weigh the quality of the fruit against the price. Because they are two completely different data types, it is like trying to compare the color blue to the number 50. It creates a cognitive buffer overflow. But when the decoy node enters the system, it triggers a race condition. This decoy is what we call asymmetrically dominated. That is just a fancy way of saying it is engineered to be terrible value. It is almost as expensive as the large, but not nearly as good. Its only job on this earth is to be slightly worse than the premium option. When your brain sees the bad version sitting right next to the premium version, it stops stressing out. It stops trying to do the hard math. Instead, it snaps to the comparison. It says, well, the premium one is clearly better than the bad one for only 50 cents more. The system stops processing absolute value and simply snaps to the most expensive choice. Because the decoy made the math look easy, it is a logical short circuit. Marketers know that if they can make the comparison look simple, you will stop looking at the price tag altogether. You are not buying the product anymore. You are buying the easy choice. Your brain would rather spend more money than spend more energy on a difficult calculation. Wait, let me stop there. Because if you are thinking, I am a smart guy. I see the trick. I am immune to some theater popcorn magic. You are right, mostly. But there is a catch that big tech and clever marketers do not want you to notice. In fact, I have to backtrack and explain this better, because being smart actually makes this trap work better. Your brain is a high-speed pattern recognition machine. It is designed to find the best path through a problem as fast as possible. Because you are analytical, you find the comparison faster than anyone else. You are not seeing through the trick. You are just accelerating the exploit. Even if you know the bridge is rigged, the laws of psychological gravity still pull you down when you step on it. You cannot outthink a feeling, and that feeling of a good deal is what is actually driving the bus. Most people assume they are safe because they understand the logic, but understanding the plumbing does not stop the water from flowing. This is why you see these decoys in high-end software, luxury cars, and investment tiers. The smarter the audience, the more effective the decoy becomes. It satisfies your need for logic by giving you a fake logical path to follow. It is a zero-day vulnerability in the human hardware, and knowing it exists is only the first step to securing your perimeter. So, the next time you see 3-tiered pricing options, do not just look at the interface. Look at the architecture. Immediately look for the middleware, the option that feels slightly too expensive for what it offers. That is your decoy. It is a phantom. It is a ghost in the machine. Your tactical move is simple. Mentally delete that option from the board. Strike it out. Once you remove the decoy, the asymmetric dominance collapses instantly. The funnel disappears. The slanted floor levels out. And you are back to a clean, binary choice. You're left with a fair decision between what you actually need and what you can actually afford. In a world of psychological dark patterns, the only real defense is a hardened mental firewall. You have to learn to spot the third option before it spots you. Do not let them tilt the room. If you want to keep your brain defense system updated and stay one step ahead of the people trying to weld your wallet open, you need to secure your perimeter. Give the value a moment to sink in. Then, if you want to stay upgraded, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are here to dismantle the architecture of the traps they set for us every single day. Look past the interface. Look at the why of wealth